Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be and whatever time you may watch this video. Now, I felt compelled to make this particular video because of pretty much the last couple of videos I've made on my YouTube page. Now, before I begin, I don't stunt. I'd be like a Barack Obama. I don't do stunts. I don't believe in doing stunts, but I'm going to pour a little of my special reserve. I don't really tap in this too much, but I kind of feel as if this is a very important video that I'm about to make. So, yeah, my last two videos on YouTube were in reference to Charleston White. And not typically like most of the YouTubers, where they come on and I don't know whether it might be a fictional or legitimate catching of feelings where they may feel as if they have to mention Mr. White's name in order to I guess cause some type of friction, or where he might respond to them and somehow build their views up in clicks and so on and so forth. I myself, and I iterated this in the comment section of pretty much the highest video, the highest viewed video I have on my channel, and that was the one about Charleston White. I had to iterate that. My channel is not monetized. I don't have anywhere near the amount of viewers. I only have about 10% of the viewers, of the subscribers that I need. And and out of the 4,000 hours, I probably don't even have 100 of those. Well, I don't know. I haven't checked that shit lately. But I know that I don't have nowhere near 4,000. We're not close enough to 4,000. Not off of no two videos. When I made the video, it was a response. It was the E word is somehow been rendered taboo to be mentioned in regards to black men, but I never said there's nothing wrong. There's a problem with people or men having emotions. It's just the how effective you use your emotions, for what purpose that you use your emotions. Emotions should be used as a tool, not as just something to either draw attention to yourself or to manipulate others with. Now, it was a response, and because Mr. White has said, and if you pay attention, if you watch the last videos, or if you know anything about him, Mr. White had last week had full-throatedly said that he feels as if his life is in danger. He feels as if that he stated clearly that there is a $50,000 ticket on his head, allegedly placed there by, and pay attention, I said allegedly placed there by, in collaboration with an officer named Tracy Carter, and also a civilian known as, I don't know his first name, Mr. White refers to him as Mr. McHenry. Now, the thing about it is, yeah, you can say that Flavinus Niger is a fan of Charleston White. And when you say that he's a fan of Charleston White, understand that when I say that I'm a fan of Charleston White, I'm a fan of the entertainer. I'm a fan of the character in which he plays. He's the moniker Rat Williams, or whatever humorous things he may say or interesting things that intrigue me that he may say as Charleston White the person. Now, aside from that, I also, in my limited attempt to look past the character Rat Williams, I've also grown an affinity and a respect for the man known as Charleston White, because what I did is what he has always said to do. If you have any doubt about who he is to Google his name. Now, upon my Googling of his name, I found out about his past. I mean, albeit that he did not pull the trigger to kill the white man. I think it's called the felony murder rule. I don't know if that was in effect back then, but if you participate in a situation where someone is killed, you might as well pull the trigger. But that's not really the point of what I'm making. What I'm making is that aside from the character that's placed up there to entertain you, there's also a person. And when I saw those videos last week that he made, and what I got from that was that he was expressing an imminent fear for not only himself but also his family. Now, I pay attention to a lot of times when people watch the videos, they're more in tune to what he says, what he's saying to them. But I'm more. Now you may say I'm talking. I do a lot of talk. Of course, I have to talk on these videos. But in real life, I'm more of a quiet person. I'm more of an observer. I've been an observer all my life, and the fact that I have been an observer all my life. When I first came in contact with Mr. Charleston White, there's something that I noticed, and of course, it's pretty obvious that he has no problem saying how he feels and saying how he feels to whomever. And throughout my course of my life of listening and observing people, I've found out that those are generally the most genuine people that you would like to come across, because they'll tell you how they feel about a situation. They'll tell you how they feel about someone else, and if it comes down to it, they'll tell you how they feel about you. Now I don't want nobody to tap dance around me and fake in front about how they feel or what they think about me or the things I've done. I don't necessarily have to care what they think, and that depends on my level of respect for the person. But again, no. I just want to speak in regards to how me making my original video is where it says that Charleston White is in fear of his life, alleges that a police officer and an alleged pedophile or alleged sex trafficker, deviant or whatever per se, are conspiring to cause harm to him, lethal harm to him. So what my video was pretty much to when I added it on the YouTube, because if you'll notice something else, you'll notice on his YouTube channel, he doesn't mention this. If you're not linked to him on his Facebook page, you wouldn't even really know what he's talking about. And that was also interesting to me after I made the video, because what ensued pretty much the day after, because like I said, I'm a fledgling YouTube channel. Don't nobody really pay attention to me. And then in the first place I shared the video was actually in the Charleston White fan page, because I actually would have preferred, and that's generally what any name that you might see before, any video that you might see with Charleston's name on it, I paid respect ties to that man before I even, and I let him know what it was I was doing with the video before I put it up there. So the thing about that is that where I have a couple of women in the comments of that first video when I spoke about the threats against him, talking about that I'm doing this for clout. So it's like it doesn't make sense for me to have some type of concern for the gentleman, the concern for the safety of to make sure that no one is hurt or harmed. I have to have some type of some type of low life financial interest in getting views and clicks on my video or getting attention for myself. I work on the white man's job. You know how Mr. White said, I'm a warehouse worker. Yeah, I'm not a $10 or $12 an hour warehouse worker. In my particular field, out of 3 or 4 levels, I am a level 3. And whoop-de-doo to that, it's not an owner, but it provides me to a point where I don't have to beg, and I don't have to worry about paying my bills, because I don't have any bastard children that I have to worry about paying child support for. I don't have any woman in my face with hands like tin cups that I have to trick all my money on, because I'm in control of my urges. I have discipline in myself. But the thing about it is that's and I really and I still want it to be, and I hope, and I'm gonna make this point here. The part of the reason I made that first video is because I wanted people that are either in Fort Worth, in Dallas, or any part of Texas to see. I wanted them to see that anyone that knows Charleston White, has had interaction with Charleston White, that Charleston White has helped. I wanted them to see that, because I wanted them to know that there are people all over this country, if not all over this world, that have a large amount of respect and affinity for Mr. Charleston White, and also from the fact that when he speaks about the time, maybe a year or so ago, where the the preachers and also local police and whatever allegedly, I mean, no, they can't even say allegedly, because this is what I got from what he said, and that happened to him, that he was for not even intent to pick a better word, he was kidnapped and placed in a facility and drugged because of the passion in which he speaks, the passion in which he speaks upon the issues and the things and the people. I guess I'll just go ahead and say, I guess the people that he was speaking on took umbrage to what he said or whatever, and basically what he believes. And at this point, from what I've seen in regards to after I posted the video about the threats on him, I would be more prone to believe him, that he believes that that they conspired against him in order to kidnap him and to put him in that well, I'll just say, use the word I'll use, sanitarium, and drugged him up, and he had to play reform in order to get out. And the thing about it is that when I watched those first videos when he first came out, and like I said, I don't do much talking when I'm around folks. I observe. While he was talking and he was explaining what happened to him, I looked in his eyes, man. And when you look and someone that's an observer and a listener, I won't say I can't say 100%, because some people are excellent liars, but 90 to 95% of the time, when you look into somebody's eyes and you have the skill to sniff a lie out, you can tell when that person's being honest. Now, when I looked into that man's eyes, and as he was telling about it, not only did I see fear, not only did I see disappointment, but I also saw sadness, and I also saw sadness because I felt because it appeared to me that he felt just totally disappointed and just let down, that even in the process of him standing up and standing for all these people that are around him, that they would allow that they would allow, and these are preachers, and the police are what talk about he a snitch, he a rat, he worked for the FBI, this, that, and the third. These are preachers and police officers that conspired to get him in this place, that put him in that place. And when he got out, what I mean, because like I said, I didn't see the videos when he first got out of the hospital or whatever. I didn't see those first. I saw the videos like after he started making them checks on YouTube. And after I saw that, I was like, okay, this. And really, I kind of came across him a year before in 2019. No, was it 2019? No, 2020. I didn't really start listening to him in 2021, but I managed to come. I remember I came across him in 2021. He was wearing the Trump hat, and and he was going in on he was going in on everything. And if anybody came out of pocket, one particular distinctive thing I saw that a woman that came out of pocket at him, and he kind of like put her in. Well, I'm gonna say he put her ass in place. And respect, disrespectfully. And it's like I caught that, but really the person that drew my attention before him, and it was a viral video of the old man Pops, and he was in a pool hall, and he was breaking down the game or whatever, and for me to find out later on that Pops is pretty much that man's mentor, and then to hear the things that he started saying, and then for me to tie, and then the connection with the nigger nation and the nigger people, and before then, my name even long before I knew about Charleston White or even Pops or whatever, I know the origin of the word nigger, the divine epithet that means NGR, that's derived from the ancient Northern African term NGR, Nigerian, Inger. That word means God. Now you say, well, this is the word the white man gave us in order to, to demean and to put us down, whatever. The white man didn't need no word to put us down. We were slaves, people. Our ancestors were slaves. What would he have to do to find? What would he have to find the word, invent a word to refer to us, to refer to our ancestors in order to demean them? The word they use is the bastardization of their Englishman's language. No, the reason why you believe that the white man invented this word is because they bastardized it with their enunciation of the language. Now, my name is Flavinus Niger. Now, Niger, Niger, was associated with black. Niger, Negro, and for example, if you had, I'll use the example from the literature in which I learned, Septimus Niger. That would mean Septimus the black. So Septimus would be recognized as someone that was black. But once I'm kind of rambling off the plantation here, and I'm looking at my timer because I wanted to make sure I kind of kept this short. But I know it's not short. It's already 20 minutes in. But nevertheless, either you gonna fuck with it or you ain't. But the thing about it is that on Tuesday, November the 16th at 7 p.m. in the city of Fort Worth. I hope there are plenty of people there to go live. And what I want to see is he claims he only needs 10 people. I want to see 100 people. I want to see the building, just flooded with folks that are there standing with Mr. Charleston White. Because my thing about it is, another thing that made me, that drew me to Charleston White is that, nowadays, it's okay for, for black males to, to be as effeminate or dressing clothing or use or lisp in their words and put a little what am I looking for, flamboyance or feminine inflection in their tone, and basically walk around it as in the ideal sense, be portrayed and promoted in media and on television as submissive. Now, one of the things that I admired about uh, Mr. White from the onset is that he brought back not only the um, the um, the notion that a man should be able to say what he feels, but also a man should have a certain type of constitution, a certain set of guidelines in which he operates. And admittedly, I had to check myself because through the process of social media, and I have my political views and my certain beliefs, and and those those have conflicted with those people who I've considered friends, and I called myself trying to water my voice down to the point where it gets to the point where it depresses you, because you feel sad and you feel like a misfit. And it's not nothing that I knew, that the feeling of being socially awkward. That's nothing new to me. I mean, if in my youth, I was pretty much a loner, and even as I grew old, it wasn't like I hung out with a whole lot of hard legs. I like to be around women, and it's not that I like to be around women because I want to be a woman. I like to be you know. Let's see. I'm the only male child in my family. Out of my mother, I'm a mother's only boy. I got four other sisters through my mother. I have half sisters, because my father was a Rolling Stone. I had my father. My father was, for the most part, in the home, but he was a hustler, street kind of dude. On clubs with bails bonds. Man, he was. I never knew the man to have a work for the white man on a white man's job a day in my life. So for him, for him, I guess I could say that I learned a lot of my ideas of what a man should be from him, but to the point where it's kind of this sort. I don't want to say dysfunction because I love my father, but me and my father had a tumultuous relationship at many times. But the person in which I learned most about being a man from was my grandfather, and that was something else that Mr. Charles White talked about. Granddaddy would never go for this. This ain't Granddaddy wouldn't be all up in a man's face trying to comment on what a man looked like and what's going on with a man appearance and stuff like unless it's a point where okay it's a certain way, like if you going to church or something like that, Granddaddy be gonna check you if you ain't sharp. But again, I'm getting too far away from the point I'm trying to make here. Underneath the comments of that video that I made, they said that where I pointed out that Mr. Charleston feels threats to his life from the police. One of the sadder things that I noticed, that there were people that out of the three commenters that were under it, they were all women, and two of them. I mean, of course, this is the internet. You can always have an imposter. Two of them, I'm certain, if not all three, were black women. Now we can go back to the plantation days, and and say things like, well, how when master come looking for the book, you know, uh, 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 the Mrs. The slave lady, the enslaved lady, would pretty much serve as a buffer between master and the wayward buck. Now, being that role of being the intermediary, uh, that intermediary role, I guess for many of our ancestors, that was a way in which our matriarchal ancestors were able to protect the men, the males of our people, because what it the master came in with killing energy. Now with a little cooling and soft talk from our matriarchal uh, female ancestors, women ancestors, they were able to kind of broker some type of what am I looking for? The word I'm looking for, because they say that's another thing that I caught up in my comments, that you be trying to use them big words. Everybody not goddamn stupid. I read a lot of books. Every word I use, I know the definition for, and it took a lot for me to not indecorously go with the most disrespectful, disdainful words and terms against one of these. Well, definitely against